See, they say, oh, gas prices are. Alrighty, guys. I know we're late today. Um, I needed to close that out so you guys don't hear a echo or anything of that nature. I took my glasses off and I got I get distracted sometimes. Or, you know, I'm supposed to have my glasses on a daily basis and I don't, or whatever. But we got some news to talk about today for what it's worth. Nothing here. Most of it's going to be in relation to what is going on. Within it. We are running Europe. Just to be aware that within the stuff that we are doing, the schedule is updated for the foreseeable future. Is we have picked between Europe, or Japan for your truck. And the schedule is pretty clear. Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be Euro Truck. And Euro Truck is going to be that way. Now, there's going to probably be an afternoon where I will not be live. So it's going to be Euro Truck on Monday, Tuesday. On Monday it's going to be Europe. Wednesday's going to be Japan. Friday's going to be either or. And then Tuesday, Thursday is going to be Final Fantasy 13 unless. And Sunday, unless otherwise stated before. So this is what we kind of do around here. We are finishing up our job. Hopefully, maybe we will get through. This will be a couple of days. But what we've got for you primarily today is primarily Linux. It is primarily going to be a Linux heavy stream today. Don't come at me and say, oh, this Linux distro is better than that Linux distro or whatever. If you like your own Linux, if you like using that distro, use it. It's your choice. It's how you. It's how you wanna do things and how you wanna proceed. The way that you things that are set up. Now, of course, when you actually think about the product or the decision that you choose to make with your chosen distro, just remember that any distro is going to be fine for most would say that if you look at a distro, don't go with something that is not, does not have a lot of documentation on it. Unless you're somebody like going out there and saying, well, I'm just going to challenge, I want to challenge myself to utilize this operating system, that's fine. But if you are looking at gaming, I would highly recommend at least 3 of these distros, would say, personally. I've never used these other two, but I would still recommend them, only because one is officially a supported operating system by Valve called SteamOS. A lot of people don't realize that SteamOS can be installed on any platform as long as it's AMD supported. And that's a good thing to have. And the other one is CacheOS and Bazite. Now, of course, all of those are great distros to be utilizing. You can use them to your heart's content. Be happy with whatever distro you want to use. Now, of course, a lot of these distros are going to be relatively heavily chosen to pick whatever distro that suits your needs. Don't go and look up listicles. Look up what you need. Figure out what I am utilizing. If you're gaming primarily on it, I would highly recommend Cache, Bazite, or Steam. And those are the 3 that I'd highly recommend, because Steam is SteamOS is the only one that absolutely is backed by a major company that is into gaming. So I would say that Bazite's pretty good too. I use it on a daily basis. I would if I ever did build another computer myself, I would keep this one Bazite and upgrade and put the other one on SteamOS. To be more precise, so that I can have variety and see which one I really like. But to be honest, just to be clear, a lot of people like me hate AI. Of course, I am not somebody that is absolutely 100% in support of AI. I will use AI on an occasion. If I can't get something or I can't figure something out, I will go out and utilize AI to help me with that. If I need help, most of the time I'm not for AI. I only use it as a tool. I don't utilize it on a daily basis. I will always search. I will always search Smart Page before I search any other. I'll search Smart Page first, and then I'll search Google after the fact. I don't know why I do it. I don't know why I just go search Smart Page and then go straight to searching and then never clicking on anything or doing anything and then just going back to Google. But I do it that way. A lot of times, I do a lot of these things where AI is here to stay, of course, and it's going to be one that is a problem in a lot of places. A lot of places, we should not be utilizing AI as a directive. We should be utilizing AI as a tool to help us. And of course, Linus Torvalds talked about this, that we shouldn't be utilizing it, that we can utilize it however we feel like. and that's how we should be doing things, is that AI is sometimes going to be used in the kernel and in the kernel for what it's worth, and that's fine. We just have to realize that everything is going to get touched by AI. Everything is going to be used by AI, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with it on a daily basis. We're going to have to do such a thing. And have to just live with the fact that AI is here, and we just have to learn to navigate with it. But we shouldn't be going and asking AI on medical advice. There's three things that I would say: do not ask it for medical advice. Do not go and ask AI on everything that is there. Okay? If you are looking at medical advice, go to an actual doctor for medical advice for that reason. If you are asking for a question on utilizing for looking up like a thing, like you use it, always first go and search it first before asking AI. I know Google has it built in, but utilize that before you go and ask AI. Search other means, because AI is not going to be accurate, 100% accurate in all these things. One of the things that even in Linux, like you can go and ask AI Linux stuff. It's always a good idea to ask in the communities that we utilize. Like, for example, if you're a Bazite user, go and ask Bazite people. Go and ask them in their Discord. Ask in these places where you can get access to asking questions before you go to AI, because they're most likely going to be able to be knowledgeable and to be able to help you out before you go and ask AI. A lot of times AI might tell you this and tell you to update it this way, but then you go to the thing and you fix an issue that's been going on with it, and it's on the Bazite team's side that'll help you fix your problems. It doesn't matter which distro you should be utilizing. I would say that if you are, stick with a mainstream distro that is going to help you out in more than anything. And that's going to be your best bet. Now, not everything is going to be that way. There are going to be things where you can ask and go in and, well, yeah, see, in real life, you, like, yeah, it's back there, but like, if you're starting to speed up and it's like the sign's literally right there, I would not arrest you for it. Like, if you see the sign and it says, well, okay, you're speeding up, I wouldn't arrest you if you're right there. But anyway, that's just me. But things that when you are out here, actually do I have? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm gonna stay in this thing because it seems like I'm going. Actually, I'll go one. Go over to the middle lane. But when you look at these things, you look at how you pick your distro. Don't like if what you should do is yes, don't just rely on that. What I'm going to tell you is the biggest thing you can do is if it has a lot of documentation. Okay, that's the best thing you can do. Is going I hate YouTube sometimes, but you know you have to really think about that. Everything is being touched by AI. Everything is being done by AI. When you look at Mac is not built on. Mac is built on FreeBSD. Windows is built on Windows. And to be honest, Windows is kind of getting egregious a lot these days. I literally hate Windows because like I am going to tell you, like, I am literally against Windows because of the way that they're pushing AI directly into the operating system. Like, I don't want AI built in the operating system. I don't want AI being pushed into the operating system as a default. And I don't like that. I am very much against that aspect. I don't care if AI is out and running on Bazite. I don't care if it's out there running on these distros in Linux, just as long as they're not built directly into the distro itself and being utilized. I will tell you, like, I am not somebody that's going to actively support a distro that does put, not AI as a tool, not AI to help with the operating system, but to put it directly built in. I will not. It's one of those things where I am against that being used. I'm against being required to log into having a cloud backups or logging into Windows telling me that I have to have all these logged things. I hate using Windows. I absolutely hate it. And I absolutely am against AI. And I'm also like against AI when it's predisposed and forced down my throat to be used in these platforms. I'm also not for being forced to always use the cloud, being forced to say, hey, oops, am I going the right way? Nope. Like I said, I only load if like I have to know where I'm going and stuff, but um there's always this thing that burns with me, and I don't mind um I don't mind Linux. I don't mind AI, to be clear. I'm not fully supportive of it though either, because of problems that it has and things that ruin people's lives. Like, let me be clear. If you go and look up things, there is AI generated adult content out there too, and that's not good either. Just because I happened to stumble upon these ads that are out there that will say being your chatbot for you, and it's still like it could be like your boyfriend or whatever, or just genuinely going out there and just seeing it on the internet that there is that an AI can be used to ruin people's lives, but it can also be there as a tool to help people. Now, of course, there are a lot of people out there that are wonderfully good people out there that do good for a lot of things. They may use the AI as a tool. Like, I don't care, but I want to have that knowledge to go and ask these things. There's a lot of things that I will tell you, like, I am against people who just use it for medical advice as a thing. Like, if you have this, go and ask AI, but then go and have a second opinion and go to an actual doctor, because a doctor's gonna know a lot more than you think, and is gonna have more of the true knowledge of what's going on with it. It's like, just don't go out and believe AI, because AI can poison. People can sit there and poison AI for that reason. It can sit there and poison the training data on it, and it's going to ruin the data on a lot of those things. Now, of course, there are going to be these things where there are going to be these things where AI can make you think that it's the truth when in reality it's not. You're at the whim of the AI creators who create these things. You're at the whim. It's like if you go and look at Grok, you're at the whim of Elon Musk. Okay? You're at the whim of Elon Musk. If you're not only are you at the whim of that, you're also at the whim of Google having the decision. Like, if you're doing YouTube and you're wanting to know how to make great on your YouTube videos, that's the best place you can do it, is going to asking Gemini for that. But like, you can ask other AIs too, but you're mostly course it's gonna say 110. But we're going around through this. But there is a lot of these things that that really are problematic to those people who just sit there and believe AI as it's literally the truth, and it's not. There is only one truth and only one absolute truth. Most people don't even believe it, and that's their own directive to. And there's always going to be the absolute. There's always going to be a truth, and then the truth that everybody believes in. There's always going to be a truth that A person believes in, but then there's a truth that B person believes in. That's not what A believes in, and then there's the absolute truth, which is what is right there standing in front of you. And people don't really want to sit there and believe. A lot of people don't want to sit there and believe what is being done and what is being said through. I am going slower than what is normal, so I'll just go here. A lot of time, not only with that, but a lot of people sit here and believe Donald Trump, believe everything that he says, and believe the things that are being out there, and will just believe that he's telling the truth, that he's the savior, that he's the truth teller, that he tells everything is truth. He said that he was going to bring down gas prices. Gas prices are going up to $4 a gallon average again. It's like it was down for a little bit, now it's going back up again. It's all because of the wars going on in Iran, and all the wars going on in the world these days. And there's these things that are out there that people will blame Canada for these wildfire smokes coming into the United States, and it's like Trump wants tariffs on the wildfire in Canada because they're bringing the wildfire smoke into the United States. Guess what? Guess what? Canada has the exact same thing coming in from the United States out west. It's like these people don't really get the understanding of science. And that's just the problem that is being faced within these things, is that, that they will people will sit there and believe that we got a mandatory break. Hold on. 2 hours before we got to take that mandatory break, that's okay. We'll go to the next one. they have. It's like they're on a season of wildfires. It's like us having tornado seasons here in the central United States, and hurricane season's coming up. It's or even or it's already here. If it's not available, if it hasn't already, it's a lot of people will go out and blame and find ways to blame something else, and not willing to actually help and actually fix. I know, that's why I have that there is mandatory. I'm going to the next location. For that mandatory break. But everybody who sits there and believes that that you'll believe this and then just go along with it. It's like people will sit there and believe that people are illegally here in the United States because ICE is shooting somebody. I shot somebody that's saying that they weren't allowed to be here, but they literally shot somebody that was a legal citizen, had a social security number. You literally can't become a citizen. You literally can't get a social security number unless you're a citizen. And they believe that these things are the truth when they don't really listen or so it's like you gotta stop putting lies and stop just do your research. Like personally, don't just go out there and think that your research is you do the research, but where's your research coming from? Is your research coming from Fox News? Is your research coming from right-wing media? Right-wing media? Is it coming from left-wing media? Yeah, we have to do that. I hate the mandatory thing. It's like I've got 16 hours left for this delivery. We've got 12 to go. Mandatory is at 11 hours. Again, to be honest, I would probably, like, if I know I have to take that mandatory break, but like if I have like an hour left to deliver a package and my mandatory breaks every 11 hours, I wouldn't get in trouble saying, hey, I'm just finishing up this delivery, I'm going to take my rest after that. I'm pretty sure that they would be okay with it, but in a video game, it's just one of those things that I'm just willing to allow for me to just go like that. Just to allow for me to go down and on it so that I can get faster in places. And of course, it's one of those things that sit and we believe a lot of these things that we just go out and we believe that we set in our ways, we're never going to change, we are not willing to change. Let me be clear, I want to share with you guys the importance of the understanding of what I'm going about to say here. Is, let me be clear, like, I have been set in my ways. I was set in my ways for a long time, believing that you had to, that you couldn't change, that once you registered as a party, you couldn't change your party. You couldn't change it, you had to stick with your party, you had to vote along party lines, you had to do this, you had to do that. You don't. Okay, you do not have to vote along party lines. You can vote however you feel like. If you're a Republican, you can vote a Democratic person, and if you're a Democratic person, you can vote it as if you're a Republican. The only time that that's going to really affect how you vote is at the primaries. It's the only time. We've got a lot of things where, another thing that I was dead set in is that we should remove guns, we should ban guns. You know, I was thought that, oh, that's gonna solve our problem, it's gonna solve the issue. But what's really has made me realize and understanding is that, as I kind of listened to other places and listened to other beliefs, that I listen to both sides of the coin. I listen to all sides. I don't get why it's telling me to go that way when I'm going. And I am literally following the line that I'm supposed to be taking. yeah, look at Japan, look at UK, for the God's sake. Like, you look at the UK. A lot of I have listened to a lot of their local, one of their local one of a, if not a local radio station out of the UK. That kind of goes worldwide, but primarily focuses UK, on the UK, which is Transradio UK, and they have had things where things do shift. People are, you go look at UK. UK has more knife attacks than they do guns. But just because they have guns. Like people don't really seem to get the point. Is that, yeah, you may be able to remove the problem, you may be able to remove the gun issue, but guess what? Guns are a cult. We're a gun culture. The United States is really latched on to be guns. I very much have changed a lot of my view on a lot of these things. I have shifted the way that I view okay, yeah. And then we go. Oh, great. Okay, we gotta remember to drive on the left side of the road. Oh. But that should be fine, we'll manage. But when you think about those things, and think about being dead set in one way or the other, you can not get the full picture. You can always get away from that picture and utilizing things like ground news or utilizing some other form of aggregate to get your news is a good idea. How long? Oh, it does not have, we don't have a, how much miles per hour we're supposed to go. It's 40 miles an hour, 40. So I'm believing But we don't want to sit here and believe that you sit there, like, you can't always get the whole kind of picture, but if you pay attention to a lot of the actions people do, 64, thank you. Thank you. And so we can always have that ability to listen, and the ability to listen to what is being done by both sides. This is why you don't sit there and you believe MS Now, or you believe Ryzen. You don't just follow one user. It's one thing to focus on audience retention and to get all the audience that you want. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna try to believe everything that you guys want me to do, everything that you guys want me to be there. I'm going to be somebody that's going to try my best to just put out videos that I enjoy and talk about the things that I enjoy, and not be out there. Like, if so, and it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and buy and put every ad in front of you that is going to be like Raid Shadow Legends. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to post things that if I am not actively going to feel like I would use a product, then what's the point? I'm not gonna sit there and do that. Like, I will tell you, there are better brands out there than Turtle Beach. I've used Turtle Beach as a baseline for a lot of my headsets. I use Turtle Beach on a daily basis. I have used Skull Candy as another brand that, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of that brand. I have not been a fan of a lot of the headsets lately in durability and things like that. Like, these headphones right here, I bought them, like, they're not, like, they're plastic. They're not gonna be the Auton headphones are not like durability, they're not the greatest, but their sounding quality is really great when you use it on Bluetooth. But when you use it through line in is kind of like it's still decent enough that it doesn't bother me, and I like them. I like their quality, the way that they have for the sound and things. If you do take good care of these Auton headphones, you will be able to have the best quality available for you. And that's a great thing. It's like, I'm not gonna share products and I'll tell you, um, you know, quality products like your truck. It's like games. I do the same thing with games. Like, if I feel like that the quality of a game is great, and then I'm gonna share with you all the time. Like, to be honest, like, this is, like, if you're looking for something that's willing to spend a little bit of money on, I'm gonna tell you, get American, get your truck. Don't get American truck, get your truck. Your truck, it has more quality. I mean, has more availability for you to drive and set up. Like, let me be clear, like, yeah, I am utilizing a big, huge, massive place. Like, this is everything that I use in all my mods, everything. I actively, personally, and it also goes all the way over here too, Greenland. Even in a small little portion over in Canada, but unfortunately, like, that's all that there is. Like, not a lot of Canadian space. But like, I will tell you, like, I am actively more of a Euro truck fan than I'm an American truck fan. But the quality when it comes to driving or picking a game, you know, you do have like you can get this game for like $5. And get $5 out of $5, like, is actually a steal. At one point, the lowest I think it was like $2 at one point. Like, to begin with, this is absolutely fantastic, well worth of a game. You know, I have every DLC available for Euro Truck. Every single map DLC for this game. The only one I do not have. Wait, what? How did I... I ran out of freaking fuel. Can we call... I know that we did this, and I know this is gonna be a real doozy, but I'm gonna go back a little bit. And this is one thing I like about this game, is you can do it that way. But I only do it if I miss my turn, or if I am like, like in real life you wouldn't do this, but you know, the quality that comes in with a game like this, there is quality. The quality, the graphics, this whole entire game, made from a 2012, 2013 style of a gameplay, from style of game. For a game, open world game like this, it has insurmountably, has the best thing that you can do. You can modify the game. This is why I prefer PC a lot of times more than I prefer console gaming lately. And why I always am here for the importance of... Okay. Now, if we were to drive effectively, was gonna tell me this, but we're gonna do something a little bit tricky. I'm gonna do a tricky thing that I shouldn't do. Okay, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Hold on. So it's always a good thing just to, you know, and don't think that when you look at me coming through quality and quantity, I will tell you this is better quality than quantity based through it all. You know, going through and understanding the don't like running out of fuel. This is why I always forget about it sometimes. I'm gonna put it at 64 right now because that's where it's at. But when I look at products or things, I would rather spend and buy the product and review it that way than buying a product and saying is it well worth the product when it's given for free. If a product is going to tell me that it's a great product or gonna say that, I have to say it this way. No. If a product, the one thing is I have to be willing to, that if it's gonna be a product, I have to be willing to utilize it. I have to be willing to take advantage of always being able to use that product. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you products that are not LGBTQ friendly, that are not that are Trump friendly and not LGBTQ friendly. I will not accept those. If they're not Trump friendly and they're not LGBTQ friendly, then no, I'm not going to. Those are the other three things that I will do. Is if you're willing to support me, you got to be willing to support the LGBTQ community in a way, in a long way. Okay, you know, those are the things that I will do to spend a lot more time with that in that process. And also be willing to support disabled people too. But that's the disabled ones kind of like, yeah. For mostly. Now I'm not saying like completely, like there have been products out there that probably don't support the LGBTQ community, that don't support those things. But I'm always going to tell you that that the stuff that I utilize on a daily basis, one company that the best controller I've had so far out of my entire collection of owning controllers, okay, is this one right here, the PDP Nintendo Switch Skull Candy Rock Candy controller. It is absolutely the only controller that I will absolutely, for a good, decent controller, absolutely the best controller I've ever purchased. Okay, it's the only controller that I use, that I would recommend on a daily basis. But PDP is no longer around. I don't like the PlayStation 5 controllers. I'm not a big fan of that big touchscreen in the middle. I'm not a big fan of, like, I'm not a big fan of the modern controllers that a lot of these people utilize. We should not be utilizing these standard. We should be using Hall effect. We should be utilizing better quality. Like, I am not, like, I will not utilize a quality controller. Like, I have a PS2 Rock Band / Guitar Hero controller that absolutely still is absolutely the best controller I've ever had, and I have that still, utilizing it for Windows, utilizing it on PlayStation. I can utilize it anywhere through RetroCall mods. I will tell you, go and get it. It's like $50 for that. Like, it's $50 with including the controller, the adapter, and including the adapter that I bought for both, and they're both well worth the price for it. I would highly recommend it. If you've got a Wii guitar lying around, you've got a Rock Band, you got a PS2 guitar lying around, go and get it. Utilize it. Take advantage. Being able to utilize it on a PlayStation 5 for use, like, I highly would recommend. I recommend it because it's absolutely things that I will absolutely recommend through it. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I absolutely am somebody that's willing to say, look, look at these controllers. Look at all of the availability. Actually, vehicle adjustments. Yeah. You know, and I want to tell you, like, I am actively, like, somebody that does not, I'll tell you, like, I'm actively somebody that, if the product, like, most of the time, like, I might take products here and there, but don't come after me and say, look, I'm not going to stand for my word. There might be some product out there that I am willing to do because of the money. No, I'm not going to do it because of the money, but if there is genuinely a product out there that, you know, I think I'm going to use, but then I end up not utilizing it, that's going to be there. But most of the stuff that I do use on a daily basis really heavily rely on a lot of these products that we just rely on these products as and consistently rely on them to get through our day to day when we are somebody who's a gamer. You know, if you are somebody that's out there and you have these Linux distros or whatever, I'm going to tell you right now, there are three things that I would recommend for you guys, and I'm going to tell you that if you are getting into Linux and you want to have just as a thing, I would say go out and get a Linux, go out and build yourself a computer, go out and get, if you're still waiting to get that Steam thing, go and get SteamOS. Just go out and download SteamOS. If you're waiting for Steam, try out the Steam, see how you like it, and see if it's well worth it for you. And if it's well worth it for you, then great. Keep utilizing SteamOS until you get that Steam machine, and then utilize it on your actual computer. For me, it's like I would do it in a heart. I'd pick that in a heartbeat because, to be honest, like, I am somebody that just sits at my desk and plays games directly through my computer. I don't have a TV anymore. I don't have a TV monitor. I don't have a TV. I just have a monitor, and that's all I use. I don't use a TV anymore. I don't use that product. Like, I literally went and actually bought my monitor directly from Pixio because it's like, you know what? I used it. I went and bought it, and I'm like, I'm happy with it. I'm not 4K game. I'm not a 4K gamer. I'm not gonna be somebody that's going to be out there supporting 4K. I don't buy 4K because what's the point? I've gone through and I have used a TV monitor for years. You know, I want more high refresh rate, a little bit more available for a higher refresh rate. And to be honest, like, I actively would rather have that much more than any other thing. I utilize Steam. I don't get PlayStation 5, I'm like, okay, do I need to rely on Windows? Do I need to be reliant on Windows? No, I do not. But of course, will I buy the PS6? Probably not. Because I am a person that wants to support the ability to have at least physical, or the choice of being able to buy my game from whatever source I want to buy it. Valve, you know, Linux has the ability to install disk-based, like if you have older games and things. I did not see that. See those things. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Thank you for the follow. But it's always a decision that we have to really think about. Do we need to be tied to Windows? Do we absolutely have to use Windows on a daily basis because we are told to? We have choice. We have right now we actually have a little bit more of a choice to play where we want to play. Okay? Personally, you have at least 5 different ways of playing video games. Okay? 5 different ways. You have your mobile phone, okay? You have your PlayStation, you have your Xbox, you have your Switch, and you have your PC. Of course, that's just hardware. That's just the hardware that we can play, and we have even more multiple ways to play through, I forget what the EVGA, many ways. But we have very, very few places to actually purchase our games from. Okay, right now, actively, if you're on a PlayStation, you only have one place, and that's the PlayStation Store. And unfortunately, the PS3 and the Vita Store are shutting down now. The PSP Store shut down already. So it's like, why are we still sitting here buying our games through a store and relying on that store when that thing's going to be shut down and then we can no longer have access to that store anymore? Valve is the only platform, I believe, that is the longest running platform ever to buy games from. And I believe Steam started back in the early 2000s. Early 2000s. It seems to be, and it's 2025 now. We still have, and yes, of course, Steam does get rid of games on a daily basis that you might not be able to get anymore because of X, Y, or Z, because of licensing or whatever. But it's tied to your account. Go look up Spec Ops: The Line. I guarantee you won't be able to find that game on the Steam store anymore. I have it, but nobody else is going to be able to find it on the store. There are going to be games where you might not be able to find it on the store, but you can still play it. You can still have access as long as you have that Steam account. That Steam account is yours. And we have ways, and a lot of ways to get where we are and to support a lot of these things through the importance of all of these places. To pick between, on PC we have the Epic Games, we have EA, we have GOG, we have Steam, we have the gray market key sites out there that maybe it's gray market, it's not like legitimately places. You have emulation. You can do more on a PC than you can do on a console. But at a standpoint, if you're wanting to play on PC, you may be limited based on what operating system you pick. If you pick Mac, you're going to be limited, heavily limited there. Might not be as heavily limited elsewhere, but if you go on a Google Chrome or Chromebook, you're going to be really limited there on playing video games. If you are on a Windows, you're going to have a lot more capability, but the game that I mentioned earlier, Spec Ops: The Line, does not run on Windows 11. I can play it on my Linux, but I can't play it on Windows. But there's a trade-off. I can't play Call of Duty on Linux, but I can play it on Windows. So it's you got to think about what games are you really a single-player, heavy-driven single-player gamer, and maybe occasionally play Fortnite. You have options. You could go and play through GeForce Now, but I would not recommend it. I would not stand by and supporting that service when you should be just buying new games off of Steam, buying new games through those places that we have more access, more availability to a lot of our things, and that now of course, we have choice, we have things that do make our life much better when we decide to utilize a certain platform, whatever platform we want to use. Don't heavily think that, if you're just gaming, yeah, you have a lot of choice, but if you're a productive person and you want to switch over from Windows to Linux because Linux is actively a little bit better, you won't be able to use Adobe. Okay, if you have used Adobe for years and you think you cannot switch, you can try switching over. There is DaVinci Resolve, there is Shotcut, GIMP, or just to name, just their Audacity is another one, Reaper, that you can use. If you are somebody that is wanting to get away from Windows but still needs to rely on Adobe, go use Mac. If you're really tired of Windows, go use Mac. I know you'd be tired of Mac at some point because Mac's not great either, but no platform is perfect. No platform is going to solve all of your problems. You can leave a social media platform. You have choices. You have many ways of doing these things. Are you serious right now? How did I get a vehicle crash offense when I was in front and this guy was like, ugh. Sometimes the AI in this game is not great. But that's what you get when you get a game from back in 2013 that's been around for quite some time, that probably the AI has probably done some good but hasn't really changed that much. But to be honest, I love the ability to have freedom to choose what we do in our lives when it comes to certain technologies, but at the same time that's being taken away too, because we are going to be tracked. We are getting tracked on a daily basis because we are going to now, because they want to start putting ID verifications on everything, and track us in ways. This is why a lot of people will say that I am for that I am for freedom, and I'm absolutely 100% for the ability for us to be able to do that. But people will probably come and tell me, say, oh, you're against protecting our children. No, I am not against protecting our children. You want to protect children, don't enable these freaking ID verifications when you have bad actors like Russia, China, North Korea, parties that really do hate America, that really do find ways that they can just find a way to get around and access your content. We got an hour and 15 minutes to get to our destination. Hopefully we can get there in a decent amount of time. We are headed up here to Fishguard to Polaris lines, and then we have to come back down here to take our mandatory rest break, which is fine. On it, but it's like we sit here and think that we're protecting kids on a daily basis with this stuff, but protecting your child from having access to certain content because you don't, is you, and you want the state to do it instead of you doing it, you really are not a good parent. You are not wanting to parent your kids. You're not wanting to take care of your kids that way. So it's the same thing. It's like AI. Let me check a thing real quick. I wanted to check to see how much I need. 2,100 left to pay. Yeah, no, I will tell you, like, I've had issues. I've had a few issues here and there. It's not like I've had major issues, though, to begin with. I literally came in last year, I think, from Bazite. Like, I think it's even a little bit more than that. But I've had a fair share of update issues. Mainly the updating, when I updated from a issue where I think it was like before Fedora 44. I think it was like Fedora 42 or Fedora 43. I don't remember. But I had an update where every time I wanted to update the software, it just would not let me update the freaking a certain package manager that wouldn't let me, so I just had to basically just got this, reinstall freaking Bazite, and I was good. But it's like, but at the same time, it's like Windows also has the same kind of problems too. There's some similar problems where you go and you install a program, and sometimes that program might not work, or that program, like you play a video game, you may not be able to get it to run on Windows because Windows is being butthead about it. So it's like, yeah, Windows might be great for great things, but there's always that issue of Windows nagging you, telling you have to log into Windows, nagging you that you have to do all these things, and it's, yeah, but then there's also that trade-off of you can't switch over because you're a power user, you've been somebody your whole life using Windows as like a power user, and you can't, it's hard to switch over. Yeah, no, it's fine. Use what feels like it's right for you, you know? I haven't used any other distros, but I was like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not somebody that's actively, I just want an operating system that works. And that's all that matters to me. I just didn't want to be tied to Windows. I haven't used any other operating systems. The only other one that I want to try is SteamOS. But even then, I haven't even I haven't even wanted to use that either because I can't use it on my laptop, that's for sure. Because of Nvidia, stupid Nvidia. Nvidia is the only thing that I have problems with to begin with. Like, if you're going with Linux, it's always recommended to use AMD. Now that doesn't mean that you can't. As is Nvidia, there are some distros out there that are related for use for Nvidia, and that's a great thing. And that's always a thing that you can get behind is work. But you got to realize that not every distro is going to be able to support that. Yeah. To be honest, hey, I do basically the only why is it yeah, it's telling me to go that way. But hey, you know, a lot of times Windows does not work because of depreciated hardware to begin with. It's like you sit here and you want to run Windows 11, but then Windows 11 basically says you can't run this because your hardware's too old. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I want to be able to have the security support and be able to run it. And to be honest, I've used pretty much every Windows operating system XP. I believe I may have used an older operating system. Older than that, I may have used 98, Windows 98 or 95. But I know for the vast majority I've used majorly Windows XP and Windows Vista 7. Use those, but the majority of the operating systems I've used primarily is Windows 8, 10, and no, XP 10, 8, 10, and 11 are the only extensive operating systems I've used. Which we go more money for. We haven't got into hazardous cargo, eco driving, yeah, a lot of things can, but also at the same time, you're somebody that even switching over from Linux to begin with, even switching from Linux even going from Windows not just Windows, but if you're coming, I'll tell you, if you're coming in from Windows going to a Mac computer, okay, as somebody who has used both, to begin with, I have even used Mac too, Windows, I've used Mac in college. And I will tell you, using Mac is also a challenge. I know I'm getting to my mandatory rest stop up here. Don't. So yeah, it can go. Linux is going to be more of a challenge than Mac is, but Mac is still a challenge as well. It's like you will go in and you want to run another operating system, including like free BSD even, is a challenge in and of its own as well. So it's like we utilize a lot of these things. It's just a challenge when you know something that you've used for a long time, and then you come back and you use a different thing. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be hard to, but it gets easier once you start understanding some of the nuances of certain things. It'll start getting a lot easier for you to use a system. Yeah, like, to be honest, but I have to rotate around. To be honest, I need to get to my mandatory resting spot. I hate that. That's the one thing I hate about this resting new thing. But at the same time, it's more realistic. Apple is very interesting. It's one of those things that, that we do, and it's... But of course, there's not many options for our phones, though, to begin with. Our phones, we only have really two operating systems, really. We only have really Android and Mac, Apple, and that's it. But there is a Linux operating one from like in Fairphone. You can get it from that way too. Yeah, Windows Phone has been dead for years. If Windows had literally kept going with it, and just kept going with it, I think it could have managed. But Microsoft, every time they start a project, they end up just falling flat on their face, and they never keep it. They did this thing with Mixer. They bought Mixer, and guess what? Mixer's no longer available. They spend a lot of their time really innovating, like the Windows Phone. To be honest, Windows, if you actually go back all the way back before even our major phones that we have today, Windows did create a phone. Never really stayed with it. Yeah. No, I never streamed on Mixer because of the one reason. I knew it wasn't gonna last forever. I did start streaming Twitch first. Then I went over to Trovo. Probably most of you probably don't know. Trovo just ended its life cycle. Just ended its streaming platform. It's no longer streamable. It was where I used to stream all of my content on before, and then because of the copyright music stuff, where I could go and play music where I would follow within the guidelines of the game. I would play that game, like if I was playing like Clone Hero or Guitar Hero, I could go out and play it on there and have my videos be watched by people without having to be worried about copyright. That was the only time I did it with it. Still granted, I still followed a lot of those things, but unfortunately Trovo didn't take off like I thought it would. So I ended up moving back to Twitch before they signed that off, because for a lot of good reasons. But at least now I can dual stream, and it's the best thing I can do. I'm allowed to dual stream and say, look, I stream both on YouTube and on Twitch. The only difference that I'm going to tell you with my streams here on Twitch, afternoon streams are backed up on YouTube. At night, those streams are not backed up. I do not back those streams up. I leave them empty for it, and I do multiple streams a day. I do twice a day, but I do single player in the afternoon, so that if you want to see single player content like American Truck, Euro Truck, Final Fantasy 13, or things of that nature, right now those are the 3 games we're playing. American Truck not so much though. And then at night we play a lot of Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, multiplayer stuff at night. The schedule's out for the updated schedule here on Twitch, so you guys can check that out. If you're watching on YouTube, check it out here on Twitch. If you guys are watching directly on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe and hit that bell notification. Sometimes, not always, sometimes there will be things here directly on YouTube that are not directly live, like City Skylines 2, and things like that. But I do gotta get off because I gotta go make some supper. It's almost 6 o'clock, so by the time I start another haul or anything, that won't be the case for me to get things done. But the next time we'll talk other things. We don't just talk technology. We usually talk a lot of... Okay, really? And then I have the nuance of trying to type things in this stupid thing where I make mistakes. 26, thank you. But the only problem I haven't been able to get affiliate is only because of 2 reasons. I haven't had, like, I haven't become affiliate because of 2 reasons. One, I have to get 3 people to watch my stream consistently. I have everything else except for that, and consistently being able to watch it before I can attain affiliate. I used to be able to have an affiliate program with YouTube until they decided to require 4,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. So, but if you want to support me in other ways outside of this affiliate program, I do have a Ko-Fi account. It's not quite fully set up yet, I don't think. I don't think I have anything allowing you to send me money that way. It's the only other place that you can do that. for supporting right now, or just by following, just being here. Being here is all that matters. Just hitting that follow, it does greatly appreciate it. But tomorrow should be a Final Fantasy 13 day. Hopefully, unless there's something like big, huge, major breaking news, that needs to be said. Because not only do I talk tech, I talk politics, I talk pretty much basically those things directly here on a daily basis. But anyway, tonight, at about 9, 10 o'clock tonight, I know it says 10, but it's not. It's like I don't know when I'm gonna end the stream. It's the only time that it is on Saturday. That's the only defined night stream that is defined. 1 a.m. No fans or buts. That's when I get off. But anyway, so yeah. So the next time we will probably drive in Japan. We'll be driving that way on Wednesday. So anyway, also one last thing I do want to mention for my media. I want you guys to know all of my media, all of my music that we listen to on while we drive is all directly from Panda Beats. So if you want to see, if you want to use that for your own streams or use that for your own self, that's a great place to go and get it. For it, it's all relatively free to do so, unless. But if you are here in the media center, do not utilize a radio stream. Do not utilize a game stream unless it's this one down here. If you like lo-fi stuff, that's going to be your best choice. But anyway, I gotta get off. I gotta go make some supper. We'll be back to tomorrow or tonight, depending on where you're watching, depending on what time of the world you're watching in the day, whether it's morning, night, evening, UK, US, Japan, whatever. We will be back in about 3 hours, 2-3 hours, for multiplayer. That's when I have 2 other people that play with me on a nightly basis. Glass and Scarlet, that you guys probably have seen before on the channel or the streams. But anyway, we will catch you guys later.